Hello, hello, hello. Hallo an alle. Wie geht es euch? Ich hoffe, das funktioniert jetzt. Ich habe einmal meinen Computer neu gestartet. Tatsächlich war vorhin irgendwie mein Internet mega am Abkacken. Und ja, also wie gesagt, ich habe jetzt Stream neu gestartet, Computer neu gestartet, alles neu gestartet und hoffe, dass wir jetzt ohne Probleme durch den Tag kommen. Denn eigentlich habe ich vor, relativ viel Genshin zu zocken. Jetzt noch, hoffentlich. Und ja, hi, das bin ich. Hallo. Ich wünsche euch einen wunderbaren Freitagvormittag und hoffe, dass wir jetzt nach einigen technischen Schwierigkeiten einfach direkt reinstarten können. Ich habe auch jetzt gerade keine Musik im Hintergrund laufen, weil das vorhin einfach alles kaputt gemacht hat. Deshalb werde ich auch nicht lange quatschen. Wir werden heute ein bisschen Main Story spielen. Ich kann euch gleich mal was zeigen. Gehen wir mal einmal gerade so hier rein, machen einmal wieder Ton an. So. Dann mache ich es mir einmal noch ein bisschen lauter. So. Funktioniert das oder laggt es? Es müsste gehen, oder? Okay, das sieht gut aus. Ich gucke gerade so ein bisschen im Stream als Kontrolle. Und ja, so, ich habe tatsächlich gestern Abend noch ein bisschen Genshin gezockt. Ich habe ja überlegt, ob ich nochmal den Stream anmache oder nicht. Und falls ihr gestern am Start wart, erinnert ihr euch, hier war ich halt vorher gar nicht. Und hier habe ich gestern noch die ganzen Teleports geholt. Und genauso hier hinten, so dieses Stück der Wüste hat mir halt komplett gefehlt. Und auch das habe ich gestern Abend noch gemacht, weil ich einfach Bock drauf hatte. Ich war aber irgendwie so platt, dass ich den Stream nicht nochmal extra angemacht habe. Und tatsächlich haben mir hier auch noch ein, zwei Teleports gefehlt. Die habe ich auch noch geholt. Und jetzt ist das hier zumindest alles schon mal ein bisschen vollständiger. So, das ist so traurig, ne? Exploration Progress 11%, 12%, 16%, 5%. Naja. It is what it is. Und tatsächlich möchte ich heute eher ein bisschen Main Story weitermachen. Und gestern habe ich ja mit Controller gespielt und das hat irgendwie gar nicht so richtig gut funktioniert. Was bist du denn da hinten? Du siehst ja süß aus. Deshalb sind wir heute mit Maus und Tastatur unterwegs. Ich hoffe, man hört das. Ich erinnere mich. Mein Gott. Auf jeden Fall sind wir heute mit Maus und Tastatur unterwegs und ich hoffe, man hört das Klacken von der Maus nicht zu laut im Mikrofon. Ansonsten muss ich zum nächsten Mal nochmal gucken, dass ich ein bisschen an meinen Audio-Einstellungen rumspiele. So, Moment, wenn ich so mache. Ihr habt aber genug Ton, ne? Ich glaube. Nein, habt ihr nicht. Moment, ich muss das lauter machen. Das passiert, wenn man an seinen Audio-Einstellungen rumspielt. So. Ich glaube, wenn ich es so mache, ist es für euch besser. So. Haha. Ich glaube, so hatten wir es nämlich gestern. Ja, das ist, glaube ich, besser. So. Okay, wir haben ein bisschen Cypress Wood. Was bist du? Weiß ich nicht. Ich greife dich einfach mal an. Ich glaube, er ist ein bisschen stuck. Und er ist tot. Gibst du Items? Meshing Gear. Cool. Danke. So, noch ein paar Crystals. Nee, das ist Iron. Okay. White Iron. White Iron. Okay. Naja, auf jeden Fall, long story short, ich möchte heute Story spielen. Das heißt, die Dailies ignorieren wir komplett. Masquerade of the Guilty. Können wir schon mal nicht weiterspielen? Das ist sehr gut. Is currently another bla bla bla. Steambird Interview müssen wir zuerst machen. Dann machen wir doch mal genau das. Wir teleportieren uns hier hin. Und dann geht's auch schon los. Ich freue mich. Ich habe eigentlich richtig Bock heute den ganzen Tag so ein bisschen zu zocken. Beziehungsweise der ganze Tag ist relativ. Denn ich muss heute Abend noch meine Haare färben. Und da brauche ich zumindest so 2 Stunden für. Das heißt, wahrscheinlich kann ich so bis 18, 19 Uhr streamen oder so. Was halt auch irgendwie 6 Stunden sind. Also das ist dann, glaube ich, okay. Und ja, das ist so der Plan für heute. Und dann gucken wir uns doch mal an, was die uns hier zu sagen hat. Ist es synchronisiert? Ich weiß es nicht. Nein, ist es nicht. Ach. Euphrasie heißt sie. Truly spectacular weather today, no? Ja. Das Wetter ist gut, okay. Speaking of work. Interview? Was? Möchten wir ein Interview machen? Putting that aside for a moment, would you like to know how I was able to correctly ascertain that you were... Observation. Every citizen who comes to the steamboat seeking help appears anxious and jittery, but your steps are relaxed, your expression calm. Okay, also sie hat uns einfach ein bisschen gestalkt. So it wouldn't be hard to handle. Have a look at this batch of commissions. Oh! Oh! Nee, ist sie die Reputation-Frau? Witzig. Witzig. Oh mein Gott, die Flügel sehen einfach aus wie alle anderen Flügel, die man bisher im Spiel bekommen hat. Schade, schade. Okay, wir können zumindest schon mal ein bisschen was claimen hier. Warte, ich kann auch claimen holen. So. Oh, Reputation Level 2. Und bei der World haben wir zumindest schon mal 20%. Naja, immerhin. Fontaine Mining Outcrop Search. Was? Naja. Auf jeden Fall haben wir dann jetzt die Reputation für Fontaine freigespielt. Okay. Pick out a few commissions. Ja, okay, nee, die Commissions sind mir aber gerade eigentlich voll egal. I will give you more complicated and important jobs. Help everyone. Okay. Your interview was complete before you even arrived. Wild. I've told you everything you need to know about this job. Okay, sie ist einfach die Reputation-Frau. Das ist voll in Ordnung. Darf ich jetzt bitte meine Hauptquest weiterspielen? Ja, darf ich sogar. Oh mein Gott, wie witzig. Dann hoffen wir doch einfach mal, dass das jetzt gut wird.
If it isn't the traveler in Paimon! Oh, have you seen the article I wrote about you? Ha! You've got some nerve! You just used us to make some quick mora!
Can we negotiate a profit split?
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It appears you didn't receive it, though. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with some food. Really? Oh, you're the best! You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a journalist with ulterior motives, you'd be in trouble now, you know. Oh, Paimon knows you're not like that. Still, what brings you here all of a sudden? Were you looking for me? A friend of ours met you a while back, and when she mentioned it, we thought of coming to see you. Her name's Mona. Ah, so you know Miss Mona as well. She's a guest columnist for our paper. Really good one, too. She's so young and already such a brilliant astrologist. So she mentioned me? What did she say? She said that you're a real daredevil of a journalist. Nice. And can this daredevil journalist dare to request an exclusive interview with the legendary traveler in Paimon? Huh? So your article in the paper today doesn't count? Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive deeper and ask you to talk about the things you've seen and experienced.
You seriously want to interview me?
Yeah, are we even qualified enough? Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you're worth it. But not right now, of course. I'll need a few days to prepare. Oh, in that case, we'll just chat when you have the time then? Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief immediately. I'll have to apply for lighting, a venue, some props, and... Whew, so much to get done now. Talk to you later. Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you. And what's that? If, just for example, Fontaine were to be flooded tomorrow, what would you do today? Huh, that's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it often, but I've never once thought that the day could be tomorrow. If you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist first and foremost. That means I have a duty to be reporting from the scene. And secondly, I wouldn't forsake my homeland that easily. From what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass. In truth, it might be better just to behave like normal rather than worry over such an end. So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. I know what you're thinking. That sounds a bit sad. I always believe that it's
Schon, ja.
enjoy. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still successfully finish an exclusive interview with a truly unique person, then the story I would
Sorry,
end up
ich bin
writing would
sofort bei euch.
be timeless. And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeons to get copies out to the various nations as soon as possible. I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic, but I do love my job, and I'd be proud of leaving such an article behind. I guess you could say that I was born to be a journalist. But anyway, that's my answer. And on that note, I'll get back to my preparations.
That's so nice. All of a sudden, Paimon actually kinda envies her. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we?
Let's go.
The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh? Paimon's been thinking.
Yes.
If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would we go and what would we do? No, Paimon should ask, if you could choose, what would you like to do?
Aha, das ist voll deep. If I could choose, huh? It's just like Charlotte said, suddenly trying to consider what to do is pointless.
We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things. We didn't have to either, with us always being on the road and whatnot.
Until that moment comes, I think I'll keep journeying on.
You mean, still traveling?
Yes, cherishing every single moment that I have to look upon this world.
Huh. Wait, isn't that what we've always been doing?
The banter goes back and forth between the two of you as time slips by. As night falls, you return to your accommodations and end this busy day. The next few days are just as calm. Charlotte comes to find you and conducts the interview in the Spina di Rosula safe house at the Fleuve Cendre. Navia, having finished her business in Poisson, even drops by to take a photo with the two of you. All goes well. Schön. Das sind doch gute Aussichten.
Feels like you'll grow mold if you stay here long enough. But it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for sure. It's not only damp there, but salty too.
Das sind alle salty.
Ah, so the two of you are still here. Wonderful.
Oh, you're from the Calais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillac sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went to the Fortress of Mirapede.
So you're under the impression that we might be wanted criminals?
Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Actually, I'm here to pass along a message from him.
Let's hear it. Did something happen?
Yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared the incident a small-scale riot.
A riot?
What?
That said, I don't personally think it was...
Wollen Sie das government overthrown?
Lady Marina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting during an intermission,
Was?
audience members suddenly started harassing her.
Oh Gott, das ist
loudly
furchtbar.
accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And before she could respond, others started to join in.
Oh nein, die Arme.
The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the pressure they've been under due to the prophecy.
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But the moment people feel threatened, gods are also the first to be blamed.
So what happened after that? Is Farina okay?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that she'd gotten tired of this and left in a hurry.
Ja, das klingt nach Farina.
Full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone. Only when things had stabilized did we realize that she had gone missing.
What?
So, you mean she's still missing?
That's right. The Marechaussee has dispatched many people to search for her, but we don't have any leads yet.
Oh Gott.
I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters, what could ordinary people do to her?
I understand the situation.
Good. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to tell you about the situation, but he didn't say anything else.
Don't worry, this is more than enough to go on. Thanks for keeping us informed.
Ah, is that so? Well, all right then. In that case, you two take care. I'll be heading back to the palais now.
Wir kümmern uns schon. Ich liebe das, wenn die sich so angucken. Ich finde das so cool. You're sure caught on quickly.
If we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead, she'll look for a place to wait out the heat. And as we also know, she may be loud and dramatic, but she doesn't have a heart of stone. When Nervillet was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about Poisson, she couldn't hide her sadness and remorse. It would be hard for her to ignore being accused by the public today. Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to Poisson and try to relieve the sense of guilt that she's feeling.
Na dann, auf nach
Well,
Poisson.
what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can do the analysis to back it up too. Cool, huh?
I see, becoming a detective is done some good.
In that case, there's not a moment to lose. Poisson, here we come!
Auf geht's. Quest completed. Moment, wir müssen erstmal noch hier... Wir haben uns eingeloggt, sehr schön. Dann können wir uns hier noch den Bonus abholen. Me Fortune Finding. Dass ich die nicht kriege. Ich muss mal gucken, ob ich irgendwie mein Tablet zum Laufen kriege. Dass ich diese 5 Intertwined Fate noch kriege. Das wäre mir sehr wichtig. So, das machen wir am Sonntag. Habe ich mal so festgestellt. Gibt es noch irgendwas anderes? Nein, okay. Cool. Dann schauen wir doch einfach mal, wo wir hin müssen. Wir wollen hier hin. Numa and Uja. When these two different properties come into contact, an annihilation reaction occurs, creating a large amount of energy.
This
Schon
place
krass.
looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible.
Lass mal auch bitte. Ich glaube, ich möchte auf Jean wechseln. Habe ich Lust drauf, mit ihr durch die Gegend zu laufen. Look at her, sie ist so schön. Ich liebe sie. So. Wow. So pretty. Ah, ich lieb's.
That's Farina, right over there. She really is here all on her own.
Shh. Wir stalken sie erstmal.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless. What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry. But what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over?
Farina.
Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina, it's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects, come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
Danke, Paimon. Ich glaube, jetzt fühlt sie sich besser.
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this morning.
Oh, ich mag Farina nicht. Ich bin absolut kein Farina-Fan.
Who did that uncivilized?
Ich weiß, voll viele feiern die,
Disturbing my enjoyment
aber ich
of
nicht.
the arts. They even dare to tout their archon. I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces once they realize that I'm nowhere to be found. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marish Chaussee Phantom are freaking out right next to them too.
Stop trying to act tough, Farina.
Of course not.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there!
Oh no! Der wütende Mob.
Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to meet me in person, aren't they? That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
Und sie rennt.
Farina, just stop. Quick, we
Oh,
have
ich hasse Farina. Ich hasse das. Immerhin ist das Spiel hübsch.
This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
What is this place?
Hurry, they're almost here.
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way.
It's time to carry out the plan.
Natürlich finden die uns nicht in dem kleinen Häuschen.
Paimon's exhausted.
I'm so tired. I totally thought they had caught me. No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
You might want to lower your voice to stay hidden.
You're right.
Yep, that's a good girl.
What's happening? The ground's shaking. Is it an earthquake?
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be. It's happening again.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Nouvellette's made some emergency plans, so the evacuation should go a lot smoother this time.
Yeah, I hope you're right. But the people of Poisson, they've already... It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Teyvat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing. But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled.
But even then, you still haven't given up, right?
Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean
Man sieht
finally
meinen
coming to
Cursor
terms with
unten
fate, but
im
also
Stream-Layout. Wie
for me to
witzig.
finally be free.
Funny. Sorry. So. But that would also mean that hope would disappear.
Indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times, especially after we almost lost Poisson. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has only just started to come true, and so many people have already lost their lives. But just now, it all became clear to me. I still don't have the right to come to terms with fate on behalf of everyone else. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late. Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden. Honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good fit at all. Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims of trivial prophecy?
Mein Gott, Farina, lass dir doch einfach helfen.
Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest just now.
We're running out of time. We can't just go back to square one like this. I have to get more information out of her. Farina, you might not have to shoulder this burden alone. Although, I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone. Your people are more than willing to share your burden with you.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can still choose to confide in someone. Just share it with me. I'm what you call a witness.
A witness? Yes. I've heard that you came to Teyvat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here.
Danke, Farina.
Teyvat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you? If that's the case...
Also ich finde, wir hatten schon relativ viel großen Einfluss auf Teyvat, aber egal. Farina, just spit it out. Ach, warum macht sie alles so kompliziert? Mädchen, sag doch einfach, was Sache ist. What? What? Was passiert denn jetzt hier? What?
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand
Daddy
trial?
Naviet is speaking.
You will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
Was?
You would draw your blade against a god?
Was? Okay, das ist ein wilder Twist. Ist das real oder ist das ein Traum?
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
Bestimmt haben die das irgendwie abgesprochen. Bestimmt.
What the heck is going
Bestimmt.
on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning of this?
It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender.
Looking for excuses again, huh?
I raised
Ich
my
check sie
hands
nicht.
just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand trial for my crimes. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I, too, am exceedingly disappointed in myself. But now, time for the Hydro Archon to show their courage and resolve. I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice. This time, I will protect you.
Na, dann mach das mal.
Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words, this shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon, Focalor, will now begin!
Woohoo!
Now we're making
Geil, Alter. Die sind richtig excited.
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to stand trial for her crimes? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this time, right?
Weiß ich nicht, Paimon. Weiß ich nicht.
Who will be my opponent in this trial?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Thank you, you.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tivat, my accuser and fated opponent.
We were so close to getting her to tell us the truth, and it still turned out like this in the end. It's okay though, as long as we can defeat Farina and Cord, we'll still have a chance to figure everything out. Okay, jetzt müssen wir sie auseinandernehmen.
Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins. Just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
Ich habe einfach die ganze Story von vorher schon wieder vergessen.
Go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis,
Ach, ich liebe Navia.
when something like that occurred, you would
Die ist so
likely
schön.
flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, We arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean, the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontanian history.
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Araneas. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
That's right.
Witzig.
It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Sorry about that. We deceived you back there.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I right?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel with an Archon without flinching.
Thank you.
As for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson. You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage.
No, you guessed wrong.
Oh?
My mission was to give you one last chance. We hoped that you'd share your secret with us before the magic box arrived onto the stage.
Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance.
Okay, jetzt bin ich doch wieder ziemlich invested.
It matters not.
Die Story ist eigentlich schon gut.
The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Yeah, the only thing we can do now is to judge the Hydra Archon. Still, I can't help but be a little bothered by that conversation. What did Verena want to say to me right before?
Please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up the proceedings.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte! Oh, let Paimon see. Isn't this the exclusive interview that she did with us before? So she's already finished it, huh? Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened ever since we stepped foot in Fontaine! So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument!
It's a super practical gift. I never would have thought of using it this way.
Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
Gut, den Refresher brauche ich nämlich auch, weil es schon ein bisschen länger her ist.
In the very first duel you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right.
Okay.
I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time. I guess you could also see this as a happy coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time Monsieur Nervilette had a difference of opinion with the oratories. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
The Tui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something. The fortress of Meropide was almost destroyed in a single day. That I didn't witness that scene personally will always be a source of professional regret, I think.
Das war ziemlich cool, wie die das so
According to Miss
gemacht
Shirley
haben.
Verdict, both Child and that whale should have been in the primordial sea at that time. I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, that still gives me shivers. The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
Okay, stimmt, da haben wir diese Stimme gehört. I remember. Jetzt bin ich mal gespannt, ob wir das hinkriegen.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervylette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this. Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will need more than that to convict me of a crime.
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud, who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait. What? What?
Fraud? Hey.
Shit goes down.
I'm going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all.
Oh yes.
Charge accepted.
Oh yes.
Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge?
No.
Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah. Even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld?
Yes.
If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the god of justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything.
Farina ist so der Inbegriff von fake it till you make it.
Move on with our lives. What do you say to that?
Huh. An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
The people only see you as their Archon because that's their long-held belief.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am? And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
I've got to think carefully. What do we do? What do we know to be special about Farina exactly? Choose the most reasonable. Why can Farina live for so long? Despite being she's human. Even Farina didn't know why, being a knave. But she had already probed Farina on her own beliefs. It's possible that not only she's actually afflicted with some sort of curse, And communicated with you by connecting to your consciousness. She believes the prophecy will certainly happen. Am ehesten doch das hier, oder? But she's actually afflicted with some sort of curse.
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Such as a curse.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
It doesn't matter who gave us the information. What matters is the veracity of the claim.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Neuvillette sensed it too, huh?
Farina, instead of an Archon, could you just be a cursed human?
Lady Farina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can...
Weiß ich jetzt nicht, Farina.
That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the indemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
Wait, that one trial proved the opposite. Farina actually has no control over the Oratrice at all. Choose the most reasonable one. Das ist das mit Child. Ne? Even Farina didn't know why.
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
Sure, we can put the Oratrice aside for now. But then, Miss Farina, could you give us a brief demonstration of your power as an Archon?
My power as an Archon? There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
A brief demonstration of your power over Hydro should be quite harmless. Surely an Archon can at least match the capacities of a human with a vision.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium! Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
Vor allem, man kann sie ja auch spielen. Also sie ist ja ein playable Character. Und da hat sie ja Hydro-Kräfte. Das ist ein bisschen sus.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar. I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you want to believe in me? Please? You've got to believe me.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And then all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Damn.
Enough.
Das ist schon hart.
Enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now? Seems like she really doesn't want to give up.
If we can't prove that she isn't the Archon, we can try to prove that she's just a human. And if she's only human... Was? A murder case? Nee. Fontanians can be dissolved by water from the primordial sea. Würde sie sich dann einfach auflösen? Das wäre ein bisschen dramatic, wenn wir sie einfach jetzt mit Primordial Seawater abschmeißen und dann stirbt sie einfach.
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Ich find's schön, wie Neviette versucht, noch irgendwas zu reißen.
Mr. Chief Justice, I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends.
Silver and Maloose!
Would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that
Ooh,
you are
it's
indeed
sparkly.
the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
Finde ich auch.
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to
Wäre jetzt funny, wenn sie nicht Fontanien wäre. Vielleicht kommt sie ja aus Canria oder so.
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at
Ey, das sind alles solche Arschlöcher, die da sitzen. Mein Gott. Die wollen sie einfach nur leiden sehen.
That could only mean...
What's going on? Is she really planning to... that's not what we thought she would...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
Hey!
She actually... Mein Gott.
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved!
Bestimmt ist sie nicht 100% Fontanian.
I am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegewien? If you're present, Miss Siegewien, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewien?
Don't be nervous. It'll just
Aw.
take a few seconds.
Sie durfte aus dem Fortress raus.
See? That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewien.
Was hat sie denn jetzt evaluated?
Doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegewien.
Aha.
You may return to the defendant.
Aha. Oh mein Gott, sind sie smart.
Did she just say? I didn't get dissolved! Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Farina could have...
Mein Gott. Sie hatte einfach gesuicided. But what's really going on? Farina can't have known the consequence of touching that water. This is too unlike how she's actually more important to her to keep up the facade. Hadn't she given up on everything a long time ago?
Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks! What happened just now didn't prove a single thing! Think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water?
Die sind nicht überzeugt.
Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
Ey, sie hat gleich einen richtigen Mental Breakdown.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Farina to win.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone who's too stacked against her now.
What is happening? Schiebt sie einfach die übelste Psychose.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is guilty.
Guilty! Einfach innerhalb von 10 Minuten diese komplette Frau auseinandergenommen.
We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges.
Nachher entscheidet sich das Oratrice dann doch um. Das wäre funny. Vielleicht kriegt sie Backup.
Of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Farina is
not guilty.
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
It can't be. Did the Oratrice just declare Farina to be innocent?
No. The Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
What? Ich dachte, sie hätte so Backup vom Original Archon oder so.
The wording of the verdict is thus: the Hydro Archon, guilty, to be punished via the death sentence.
What?
The death sentence?
Was?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a...
Aber da stand der Hydro Archon. Sie ist ja jetzt nicht Hydro Archon.
Handed out at the court. And it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Das ist ein richtiger Twist.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice?
Nee, nicht Farina. Hydro Archon.
The trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth. How did things escalate this quickly?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
What's more strange is, instead of Farina, the Oratrice rendered judgment on the Hydro Archon.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Ist das strange. Oh, es ist so eine gute Story.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt.
Fremene's Hydro Archon.
Is the trial still going?
Fremene! Huh, you finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top priority.
Was war nochmal seine mission? With some help from the other Fatui, Fremene brings a stone slate. Ach so! Ach so!
Prophecy slate?
Ach so, I remember. Das war ja unter Wasser, ne? Ja.
Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremene to try and find the missing slate.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water. But has the trial already concluded? Then doesn't that mean I've come too late? Oh no. Father will be disappointed in me.
Don't worry, the mystery hasn't been resolved yet. It's still not too late for you to shine.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremene.
Das ist so groß. Wie hat er das so hochgekriegt?
Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing
Haben wir da
slates.
Fotos von gemacht? Nee, ne?
Come here and confirm their contents.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
This looks like the previous Hydro Archon releasing her divine power, turning the oceanids into human beings.
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon.
Mein Gott, ist das kompliziert.
Hydro Archon? Do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kinda talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Vor allem, ich denke mir auch, also der Hydro Archon wurde ja jetzt zum Tode verurteilt vom Oratrice. Das müsste ja eigentlich bedeuten, dass der Original Hydro Archon lebt. So. An association between the contents of the slates and the events in real life.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates. Paimon will do her best to help you remember.
Ja, ich erinnere mich halt auch nicht mehr so richtig gut. Das ist halt auch schon ein bisschen her. Select to check the descriptions on the stone slates. Okay. You can find scenarios related to the stone slates contents and the incidents recorded at the interview notebook. As the verification project, when you've finished verifying all the stone slates, the truth behind the prophecy shall be revealed. Okay. Kriegen wir hin.
First stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans. Does that mean that Fontainians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. But if Oceanids can turn into humans, then perhaps this process can be reversed as well. The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontainians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the same thing? The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontainians have been
Haben wir?
people dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and so on. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that incident, it was just a question of when and not if.
Okay, Moment. It seems to show the former Hydro Archon using divine power to turn Oceanids into people. Connecting you with me. Moment. History of the future, the P. Aber mit Vache? War das nicht das Ding, dass sie dann zum Oceanid geworden sind? Ja.
From the case of the serial disappearances of young women, that Fontainians can be dissolved in primordial seawater. And the first stone slate tells us that long ago, the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontainians can dissolve.
Okay. Prophecy Slate 2. It shows Celestia floating in the sky and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them. Ist es, dass er guilty ist, obwohl er eigentlich nichts gemacht hat?
That doesn't sound quite...
Okay. Entrance of the nee. While exploring, it began to collapse. Only the protection of the dead members prevented her from dissolving. Nee. Communicated. Warte, was? Still brought judgment down. Sie wurde ja gejudged, oder nicht? Okay.
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. And the original sin passed down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates.
The stone slates in the ruin showing the prophecy describe a history of the future. This is the third one. It shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea, surrounded by many people. Ist das nicht von Navia? Nee. Aber surrounded by many people war ja eigentlich nur sie.
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judgment. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be alluding to the same thing?
It shows a scene that is basically identical to that described in the prophecy circulating throughout Fontaine. Fontainians will eventually be dissolved into the sea, and the Hydro Archon will sit alone on her throne and weep. She believes the prophecy will certainly happen, but you needn't give up all hope. Er war eigentlich guilty. Entrance to the primordial sea. It was only temporarily pushed back by Neviat's power. Das check ich nicht so ganz, ehrlicherweise. Alle anderen sind weg. Hydro Archon ist alleine. Im Grunde, er ist halt guilty. Ist er alleine? Weiß ich nicht. Neviat hat halt die Power. Und N könnte halt irgendwie sowas sein, wie ein Archon. She believes the prophecy will happen, but you needn't give up all hope. Nee. Ist es das? Nein, hä? Okay. Hä?
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Meropide was near.
Ach so, weil das so der Anfang von der Prophecy ist, oder wie? Dass die wahr wird.
It seems increasingly likely that the prophecy may come true.
Okay.
If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
Okay.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an oceanid. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her stay. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The stone slate's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, loads of truths should come to light.
Verification complete.
Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now. So that's how you can make sense of it. But then it feels like we're going to have to share some truly shocking revelations.
Let's hear them.
The first slate reveals that Fontainians are not real humans.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
All Fontainians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
The second slate reveals that the crime of the Hydro Archon was her creation of Fontanians from Oceanids.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most unexpected of all.
As for the third slate, I'm still convinced that it should come after the fourth slate.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate?
The fourth slate depicts the fulfillment of the prophecy as it's already widely known.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
Also müssen alle sterben. Oh Gott.
I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source.
What?
At the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed of the unadulterated truth.
Well? Did you get it?
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you.
Ja, jetzt hau raus.
Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process.
Wild.
But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
Aber die gibt's doch schon seit Generationen. Wie haben die sich denn
I think I'm just going to
fortgepflanzt?
pretend that I never heard a single thing.
How's that supposed to work?
Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontanian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct.
So they are in the right order? What is the third slate supposed to represent then?
A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice.
What? It can't be.
Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
What should we do?
I don't know. It feels like there's no way out of this.
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Is this what it feels like to be a prisoner of fate?
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions. About the fourth slate, you probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes? However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
I have? Wait, could it be... Was? Ich check's nicht. The ultimate proof! What's the source of the catastrophe?
A warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
What? Ist es der Whale? Oh, bitte nicht. Is this N? She believes the prophecy will certainly happen. Was war sie nochmal? She's afflicted with some sort of curse. Er ist guilty. Wollen wir mal den Wal ausprobieren? Ja.
Both dream and reality.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
Huh.
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
Please explain. Okay. What? What? Nee. What? Es ist einfach der Big Ass Whale. I'm so confused.
That was way too close! How did that thing
What?
just burst into the opera house? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
That's right. I'd wager that is also the one the child saw when he was young.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be...
You said that when
Destroy the
the
world.
first created Fontanians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible to resist.
God.
Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontanians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people again once it's managed to recover its strength?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come
Ich wollte gerade sagen, ne, das war Child in seiner
From the way he looked,
zweiten Form.
he must have been
Ja?
fighting the creature for
Ich war mir nicht ganz sicher, aber ich doch war er, ne?
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out like this. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy, all we need to do to stop the prophecy would be to find a way to beat it up, right?
It is too late.
What do you mean?
It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically integrated with the sea itself. Even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
That's not something I will accept. We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible foe. That's just not fair.
Indeed, that's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end, no matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
After everything, it still turned out like this. We couldn't fight against fate. Wait, but if this is all about fate...
Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. All you need to do is to play your part.
Could it be that even if the prophecy will be fulfilled, there will still be a way to save everyone? Did I miss something? Wait, I forgot about Farina. What was it that she wanted to say to me at the last moment? What is her real secret? sie überhaupt hin? Wo ist Farina hin verschwunden?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Ach lol, da ist sie. Aber ich denke, sie ist nicht der Hydro-Icon. Archon. Sie ist es doch nicht.
I still need answers.
Jo, Parkour.
Let's go.
Who are you?
You.
Farina?
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment.
Okay, sie ist Fusselor.
Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Fusselor. You know, the god.
Fusselor. Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded.
Okay, also sie hat die Menschen gemacht
In fact, one was
und wollte Punishment umgehen. Deshalb hat sie Farina
upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the
Egeria.
It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe. Now does it? She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass.
Okay.
And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized there was only one possible solution to this confounding conundrum. I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original sin of creating a new race of humans, I dare say she left me quite a colossal mess to clean up. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
Huh?
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand.
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. and the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way.
Also es ist ein bisschen ähnlich zu der Inazuma-Storyline, ne? Mit Raiden Shogun und A und
all part of the plan,
Puppet und so.
The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon alone, weeping on her throne. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon in the prophecy. Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create a deceitful appearance of that prophecy coming to pass. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Farina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500 years, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
Okay, das heißt, die Prophecy muss sich jetzt fulfillen, alle müssen sterben, sie ist alleine. Und dann kommt Focalor um die Ecke und ist so... Psych! Ich habe alle gerettet. Oder wie? Darf ich mir das jetzt vorstellen? I came into contact with Farina's tears. If I remember correctly, tears often contain memories. I can form an emotional connection just like I did with that ocean its form at the fountain of Lucine. Wait, could this be Farina's inner world? Farina? What is she doing on stage? Wait a moment, that probably isn't Farina. It's likely a reflection of her. If I can directly speak to that self, I might be able to easily get what I wanted to know. I came here for answers. Either way, this opportunity is not to be missed. Let me try talking to her. Okay, quatschen wir sie mal an. Oh, ich muss an der Seite hoch. So, Missy, erzähl mal. Das war der falsche Button.
Oh, who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august self, but I must ask you to keep to the rules.
Come on, it's me.
All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just
Don't look at me.
you. Do not distract me from my performance.
But I don't see an audience here.
Oh, do not.
Just let the stage lights go off, please, if only for 1 second.
I am Focalor. The eyes
That way I
of
can become
countless
myself
Fontanians
again.
are upon me. I must, at all times, display the utmost elegance and nobility.
Something's off. There's no getting through to her. Even in her heart of hearts, she's still playing the role. What sort of resolve must she have? I have to find a way. Also sie hat ja gerade gesagt, dass die Lichter ausgehen sollen.
audience. The performance is
What?
experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon.
La la la. Cool. Next one.
What gives? The audience is
A silence without end.
No. Guards? Wait, where are the
Junge.
guards?
So. La la la. Ah, komm her. So, wir haben Goba, wir haben Aus und wir haben so und dann haben wir sie gleich. So, ich weiß zwar nicht, wie das nachher mit dem Wahl funktionieren soll, weil ich wahrscheinlich viel zu schwach bin dafür, aber ist mir egal. That's all the spotlights turned off, and Farina's heart then must have symbolized the eyes of the people on her. Speaking of which, I just received some sort of signal. Was that her true voice? A ticket. When did that end up here? Oha! Either way, it looks like the show is about to begin. In that case, show me how you truly feel, Farina. Scene 1. Haha. Cool. Das ist schon irgendwie cool gemacht.
Farina. Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're near me? How can this be?
Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not bad. Let's go with that.
Mirror me. What do you wish to say?
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
What prophecy? Wait. I know. I don't know why, but it's in my head somehow. The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Oh, very good. You know it well.
What's going on? I can't seem to remember anything clearly. The only thing I know for sure is this prophecy. Will it really come to pass?
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster will come to Fontaine sooner or later. Things will develop just as the prophecy declared. There is no escaping it.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontainian just like them. Will I dissolve too?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give people a chance to turn things around. It is the reason why you met me today. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer somewhat.
Oh, so there's still hope after all.
goodness, you frightened me. You spoke so much and with so much certainty. As for the suffering, well, I will admit that the first thing that came to mind was, why do I have to be the one to suffer? But if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway, right? So if I've already met you as my magical meeting in this world, if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side and my pain on the other, is it not obvious where the scales should tilt?
You truly are the perfect human, my ideal. I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role, that of the new Archon.
Play as a god?
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should your identity be revealed, then all hope will be lost.
But how will I do this? A human assuming the role of a god without being exposed.
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. You simply need to play the role of a god as humans imagine it to be. Being a human yourself,
langsam wird's
you
bisschen.
already know what such an entity would be like. Remember, your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity, but contending against humanity.
I'm still not sure I understand, but I'll try. I'll try to do this. So, how long am I going to have to play this role?
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, many years. You will endure and not grow old until your task ends. But I promise you, all will eventually end in a magnificent and dramatic trial, and everyone will be saved.
A trial, huh? How exciting. I'll be looking forward to it.
Okay. Scene 2, acceptance speech, Farina. Mal ganz kurz. Nein, you're currently in Special Story Mode. Wartet mal. Lasst mich mal ganz kurz so machen. Und ich bin gleich wieder da. Ganz kleinen Moment. Okay, hi. Do you wish to leave? Nee. Okay. Sorry. Muss mir mal ganz kurz was zu essen holen. So, meine Liebe, dann akzeptier mal. Dann akzeptier mal. Ich muss da hoch, oder? Okidoki. Irgendwer staubsaugt hier gerade den Flur. Also falls ihr das hört, sorry.
But this is my first time facing the people. What should I say to most appear like a god? To be honest, I still don't know. Perhaps I should first try to act natural. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the Opera Epiclese. I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. Indeed, I am Verena de Fontaine, your new Archon. In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but it will be my honor to guide you all. As the god Focalor, the god of justice, I shall do all within my power to lead you into an age of fairness and justice. Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or suggestions, please send them to the Maison Cardinalise. The future of Fontaine will require us to work together, after all. This should do it. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I was able to convey my thoughts just fine. Okay, and next.
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the end.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What's the difference between her and an ordinary person, then?
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might just be a Maison-backed puppet.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being a fake? Oh, this is bad. If I get exposed here, there'll be no saving the people from the prophecy. Right. Mirmi said that I just need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Calm down, Verena. Think. What do the people want? How would they imagine a god to speak and act? Assertive, with a strong sense of presence. One who can dispel all doubt. That is the character I'm fated to play. Oh, very good, my people. Only ones such as you are deserving of my rule. Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage and claim ownership of this opera house, would the children of Fontaine follow them? Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you are qualified to witness wondrous trials alongside my august self, here in this opera house. You may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut that suited the atmosphere. Now then, let us be reintroduced.
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera house?
Her personality. It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and restart my accession speech. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, Keep faith in your ardor for justice. We have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that justice is most fragrant when it blooms amid sin. The scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its God. On one side, it must carry fairness and justice. And on the other, praise and applause. May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us light the fires and drink to the future of Fontaine. There is no trouble in this world that justice cannot solve. All that is needed is for you, my people, to believe in it, heart and soul. So long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the Opera Epiclese, so long as I stand before the Oratrice, I shall even judge the gods of this world!
Cool. Hat sie die Leute wohl für sich gewinnen können. Opera House, Farina. Szene 3.
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now. Was I not just at the Opera House in person? Leave these kinds of things to Neuvillette. Besides, none of these trials were the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
If I may be so impertinent, what kind of trial are you truly looking forward to?
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial. A trial to end all things. How could you hope to understand?
That's true. I fear I lack the ability to grasp your divine thought, Lady Archon.
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, do your duties. The trial I await. It will come one day.
Ich weiß, eigentlich ist es jetzt alles dafür da, dass wir mit Farina sympathizen und dass wir so Mitleid mit ihr haben, dass sie das so 500 Jahre durchmachen musste. Aber ich mag sie immer noch nicht. Es tut mir leid, aber ich finde sie leider immer noch richtig kacke. So. Ich weiß, sie hat ihr Bestes gegeben, aber... Nee. It ain't for me.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of perseverance instead. Long have you stood in line to meet me, have you not? Oh, I'm afraid that's just an inevitable consequence of my divine charm. All right. Deoteria, is it? How is your son's illness?
You remembered me, and you knew of my family, too. He is doing much better now. In fact, he is far more of an ardent believer than I. He was the one who forced me to seek an audience with you, and to bring your words back to him.
Oh, good. Very good. If this should happen again in the future, please do not hesitate to come and tell me. Going down to citizens' homes every so often, while not usual practice, should serve as a fine change of pace.
Ah, you're such a gentle and wise god. Thank you once again, on behalf of my son.
Ich bin sofort bei euch. Ja. Was haben wir hier?
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific parameters you asked to take note of, I'm afraid things still don't look good.
I see. It's as I thought then. As your god, I did already expect this, but I wanted to see how far your human wisdom would allow you to analyze it. All manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still come to pass. Forget it. That's not something you need to worry about right now.
Well, as I understand it, the Fontaine Research Institute is also trying to find a way to counter the rising water levels.
Really? Have they found anything?
I'm afraid that they haven't found any effective solution thus far.
Oh, is that so? Well, no wonder. This issue has reached the realm of the gods after all. Still, their spirit is praiseworthy.
And last but not least.
The day is finally over. I haven't had a moment to breathe this whole time. But it's good to see that everything's getting on track. There are no longer any voices of suspicion. Maybe this is fine. I just need to keep going, and everyone will be saved. Alright, Farina, don't think too hard about this. You need rest. Tomorrow's a new day.
Scene 4, Opera House, Farina.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases, as well as a summary of the follow-up.
There'll be no need for that. I've seen them already. There's no need to go back over scenes I've witnessed in person before.
Lady Farina, I've waited so long for this chance to see you in this manner.
Indeed, my dear, loyal citizen. This joyous moment is an honor for us both.
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies near Poisson.
Understood. Keep monitoring. Keep me informed should anything come up at the Institute. I don't think I let anything slip today. I must show the people that there is nothing to worry about. I just don't know when these days will end. I feel utterly exhausted. Best to rest early today, too.
Scene 5, Opera House, Farina. Oh no.
Lady Farina, it's like a dream being able to speak with you up close like this. I've heard that the first
So that's her life, huh?
to receive an audience with you was Madame Deoteria, almost 20 generations ago.
And what a fine family yours is indeed. It brings me great joy to meet such a faithful believer, a descendant of a line most ardent.
Surely you exaggerate, Lady Farina. My lady?
What is it, good citizen?
Are you crying?
Uh-huh. Oh, really now? I didn't even notice. This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god whose dominion is the waters, can I?
God, sie ist komplett bonkers.
A man Archon, I am honored to have witnessed it. Honored indeed. So interminable. So lonely. Just how much longer? Hundreds of years must have passed by now. Perhaps the show must go on for hundreds more. I never imagined that it would hurt so much. Have I reached my limit? No. Perhaps I reached it long ago. Today I didn't even notice my own tears. I want to tell someone, anyone, about this. But would that not destroy all I've done so far? I've conducted so many investigations across the centuries. But there's not even a sliver of hope that we might break the prophecy. All I can do is keep heart. I must maintain this act. It is the only way to save Fontaine. Please, mirror me. You have to succeed.
Farina and
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone. Your people are more than willing to share your burden with you.
That's my voice. Is this scene from where we were within the giant box? This is great. I didn't think that scene would replay in her inner world. Surely I'll find out.
My burden.
I will find out her secret.
That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can still choose to confide in someone. Just share it with me. I'm what you'd call a witness.
A witness? Yes. I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you? If that's the case... She's right. I could confide in her, couldn't I? But if things don't play out as expected, the people of Fontaine will be the ones to pay the price. No, Farina. You shouldn't be selfish. But what if it's really alright? Farina, you've worked so hard for so long. Surely it would be okay to put yourself first for once. Just this once. Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find someone in whom you can confide your frustrations and sorrows? Surely it could not hurt. If you let this opportunity slip through your fingers, it might never come by again. Think about it long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. I am Farina, the Archon of Fontaine. Everything will surely get better. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my performance until the curtains fall.
Fast hätten wir sie gehabt.
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principles, you must first deceive yourself. She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, Fontaine would have been doomed to the most tragic fate. It seems that trusting humanity was the right decision after all.
I believe that I understand how your deception works, but that is only half the truth, is it not? How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine? That is the most important thing.
Ah, good, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of the issue. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine, yes?
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness.
Sie ist so viel kleiner
He
als
did
er.
mention that he heard a human
I love
voice
it.
within the core chamber.
Kann da irgendjemand eine Fanfiction drüber schreiben? Würde ich lesen.
Hidden within the machine all along. Am I right?
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so, wouldn't it? Alas, your understanding of this device still lacks sufficient depth. In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill the god of justice.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratrice take down the god of justice, it will also take down the divine throne upon which she has been placed. I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy peaceful repose while Farina suffered? My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate indemnitium within the Oratrice. But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the device was ever used to provide power to Fontaine. The vast majority has been, had to be, accumulated to enact this death sentence.
It was all part of your plan then? Both the trial and the sentence?
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia had it only been used for that purpose. Almost all of it has now been stored within the Oratrice. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking the rules established by Celestia.
Okay.
The 7.
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the Hydro Archon.
Und danach gibt es einfach nie wieder ein Hydro Archon.
That divine
Dann sind es keine 7 mehr, sondern
If I do
6.
not misunderstand your intent,
What?
you must be.
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course. In other words,
What?
this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
Cool.
Oh, what? Getting sad again, are we? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign. And this is
Oh mein Gott, wie smart sie ist. Wenn es kein Hydro Archon mehr gibt, dann wird auch kein Hydro Archon mehr alleine auf dem Thron sitzen und weepen. It's genius.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my deception worked.
Warum ist er jetzt sad? Weil er die ganze Verantwortung hat oder was ist jetzt gerade sein Problem?
Hydro Dragon, don't cry.
Oh mein Gott, kann bitte wirklich irgendjemand eine Fanfiction mit den beiden schreiben?
I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Were they not guilty of essentially the same crime? Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly principle stole the power you ancient dragons possessed. I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not just that your original powers should be returned to you? Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice lies in the process of pursuing human existence itself. So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontanians as humans and their right to exist in this world would be Fontaine's original justice. In other words, existence was Egeria's justice, and to me, justice is the continuation of that existence. Defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall live on, that should be the justice enthroned over all others. At this point, we, whether it be myself or all other Fontanians, have shouldered the burden of this sin for far too long. Iudex Neuvillette, the highest judge in our land, when you regain your full power as an elemental sovereign, what verdict shall you pass upon us?
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, I see now that that was your idea too. At last, I now understand the true purpose behind this position. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding between us. And I have even attempted to feel as they feel. You are a devious one, Focalor. Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
Ist schon cool.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Und sie suicided rein. Oh, ich liebe dieses Spiel. Oh, es ist so schön. Oh mein Gott. Thank you, Farina, for all you've done. From this moment on, please live happily as a human, just as I wish we would. Okay, das heißt, Farina bleibt. Oha, look at him.
I, Iudex Neuvillette, hereby declare People of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
Your sin of existing? But sure. Das ist schon krass.
What just happened? Has the death sentence been carried out?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection? I have a feeling that something.
Ach ja, den Wal haben wir ja immer noch. Um den müssen wir uns ja immer noch kümmern, oh Gott. Das habe ich irgendwie vergessen.
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
Didn't you say just a moment ago that it can't be defeated?
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have the ability to separate the power of the Primordial Sea from that creature. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry.
You obtained power? Just now?
Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out justice.
You mean me?
The root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. The beast that enacts the prophecy. Its name is the all-devouring narwhal.
Cool.
Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come.
Oh, let's go! Oh, let's go! Time to execute the whale. Time to execute the fishy. Ich weiß, dass ein Whale kein Fisch ist, aber genau. Wale sind Säugetiere, oder? Ja, ne? Nicht, dass ich das jetzt gerade durcheinander schmeiße. Delfine sind Säugetiere. Sind Wale Säugetiere? Oh Gott! Oh Gott! Da! Oh.
Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source.
Wie komme ich denn an den ran?
We can find a way to attack it from within.
Find a way to attack it from within? Das war nicht so sinnvoll. Hä? Wie komme ich denn an ihn ran? Okay, es wird scheinbar ein sehr langer Kampf. Destroy the eye of the maelstrom.
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility.
Ich weiß nicht. Oh Gott, das wird ein sehr langer Kampf. Oder ist das auch so ein Kampf, den man einfach... Oh Gott, ich komme hier nicht weg. Was passiert hier? What? Witzig. Ich bin halt auch absolut nicht vorbereitet, dass das hier gut funktioniert. Ehrlicherweise. Seize the moment and use my power. I'm sorry. Dann komm mal rum, Naviet. Bitte. Lass mal rüberwachsen hier, deine Power. Ich spür davon noch nix. Also ich meine, Electrocharge und so macht ihm jetzt nicht so viel Damage. Das ist natürlich schade, aber... Cool, I guess. Gar kein Plan, was hier passiert. Macht Növi ihn jetzt kaputt? What? Wer ist... Warte. Wer ist sie denn jetzt?
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but oh well.
Was war denn jetzt mit der Musik auch?
Private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime.
Was?
Actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword 3 million times as penance.
Your master's pet?
That power. Who are you exactly?
Paimon has an idea. From what she said earlier,
Skirk.
she was my child's master. Skirk, right?
Das habe ich schon mal gehört.
It was the impression that she was the less talkative person.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devouring narwhal without using power from beyond this world. So you may speak to me as equals.
What sort of person would take the all-devouring narwhal as a pet?
I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to
Hallo,
do
Thundershot.
than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks. All in all, it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk? I think you might have missed the point.
The point being?
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master? Well, child's master's master. Wait, is that right?
Oh, right. So you don't know him. Sorry, I assumed you did. His name is Sertologi.
What's your AR? 56? Who? Sertologi. 56 is my AR.
Familiar with that name.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous. How should I describe him then? Have you heard of the name The Fowl?
The Fowl?
No. How is it?
Still nothing. Well, how about the Visionary? Vetterfalnir then? Or Gold Rhine-daughter?
No.
Ooh, that one we've heard.
Eh?
Sandra's part of the head.
Oh!
She's Albedo's mom, right?
What?
Oh. So you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from my master. I don't actually know them either. But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhine-daughter. They are both pursuing some form of perfection.
Wait, didn't you also mention a visionary person? Paimon didn't quite catch their name.
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the Fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
No. There's little to be surprised about, Paimon. It is natural after all. The prophecy will surely come true. We knew this and accepted it. However...
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the heavenly principles.
Aber woher weiß sie denn jetzt was von der Prophecy?
People will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Main account? Yes. What?
All hands
Ah.
emergency rescue.
Nein. Als ob das Teil fliegen kann. Nein. What? Das ist ja komplett dumm. Was? What? Das ergibt einfach gar keinen Sinn. Fremine mal wieder ganz in seinem Element. Und wem hilft er? Lynette ist auch am Start.
Look! The water's receding!
Hat da einer den Abfluss aufgemacht oder Stöpsel gezogen?
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
So, Farina ist jetzt normal human, ne? I just noticed you're not speaking English. Sorry.
The prophecy was wrong.
Ja, was zur Hölle? Ist das Wasser einmal kurz hochgestiegen und dann wieder nicht? Hä? Her story is really sad. I know, but I don't really like Farina, even after her story. I know the story is really sad, but I don't like her. I can't really empathize with her. And we did it! Cool. Das heißt, jetzt ist einfach alles wieder beim Alten. Amazing. So, Moment. Schauen wir doch einfach mal kurz hier rein und holen uns das ab. Wo ist denn hier eigentlich das Dings? Hier, das. Ich glaube, ich war in Fontaine noch nie bei der Adventurers Guild. How many 5 stars you have? Wait, let me have a look. So I got Jean. I got Chi-Chi. Is Kitsing 5-star? No, right? I don't know. I got him. I have Diluc. I got her yesterday. I got San Yun. I got Zhao. Tainari isn't 5-star, right? No, I don't think so. Nope. I think they're all normal. Yeah, I think that's it. I got her yesterday. Können sie mal aufleveln? Oh, sie braucht Julian Chilies. Cool. So, dann können wir nämlich das hier noch einsammeln. Und dann können wir zur Adventurers Guild. So. Haben wir das. Und dann machen wir das. Und so. Can make a really good team with Janyu and Zhao. I know. I'm just always lazy, like I'm so... What's with him? Ah, ich habe jetzt sein Outfit, ne? Haha, that's new. That's cool. You can wear that. I'm always lazy. Like, I know Zhao is like super good, but I just never upgraded him. He doesn't have a proper weapon, he doesn't have any artifacts. I'm just too lazy to build them. And I know I have so many characters and I've started building like from the front. You know, they have proper artifacts. And then around here I just got really lazy. And then from here on out, they're just, you know, level 50, level 40, level 40, level 80, you know. Yeah, I should play more. I should make more builds. So, dann Battle Pass. Alles klar. Was wollte ich jetzt noch machen? Sind wir soweit durch? Nee, sind wir nicht. Was ist denn jetzt das Problem? Das müssen wir erst noch machen. Graph Adversarial Technology. Talk to Charlotte. Ja, dann machen wir das doch als nächstes. Let's go. Ist das synchronisiert?
Huh?
Ja.
Isn't that Charlotte?
Great.
Who's her friend and what are they chatting about?
Please, with the cherry on top, Charlotte. Journalist extraordinaire. Please tell me you're joking. I read that a gang of criminals tricked the Gardamex by disguising themselves as blubber beasts. It's true, isn't it? It has to be. I've invested all my savings into graph adversarial technology and even taken out a sizable bank loan. I'm begging you like the beggiest beggar in all of begdom.
Oh no.
I need you to calm down a little, Miss Lapine, Pauline. I admire your passion for your research, and I don't mean to dash your hopes for those, big-ticket orders. But I'm afraid I'm not joking. The Blubberbeast incident was a short story mailed to us by an anonymous amateur author, written in the style of a true story.
Amateur author? Short story?
It sounds like they're just discussing a story, but why does this Miss Lapine Pauline seem so distressed?
Funnily enough, I actually remember being in a meeting where the editing team was debating the potential risk of misleading the public with this story. They even went to Maison Gardiennage for advice. But to our surprise, they fully supported us printing it. They figured that the false intel would be a great way to dupe potential criminals into wearing ridiculous costumes when breaking the law. In truth, Gardamex are extremely sophisticated in their capabilities. They can identify criminals just as reliably as the best human guards, so a crude disguise isn't gonna get you far. If anything, it'll just make you stand out all the more. Since we ran that story, the Maison Gardiennage has made a slew of arrests, including, one phantom blubberbeast, a titanic red-crowned finch, and a specter man. So I knew this story had helped out law enforcement, but this is the first time I'm learning of an innocent citizen being deceived by it, and investing so much mora for nothing.
I don't like him, so I'm not gonna pull for him. That's right. That's alright.
Uh-oh. She really sounds like she's in pain. Paimon thinks we should just ask Charlotte what's going on. Hey, Charlotte.
The ones that I'm still missing that I really want are Alhaitham and Naviet. I really want those two. And I've always missed the banners for them. So when they get another rerun, I'm gonna pull for them. Alhaitham and Naviet.
Inspired by this story, she spent a lot of Mora researching counter-criminal image recognition technology. Her aim was to improve Fontaine's public security by developing a device that could enhance Gardamek's target recognition capabilities. She was hoping I could write an article to spread awareness about image recognition technology. She even paid me for the article and gave me one of her prototype devices before I could get a word in. But unfortunately, it was just a fictional story, and her efforts and aspirations were all in vain. I tried to let her down gently, but she's finding it all very hard to accept.
This is a new situation for us, too. It's such a pity. It seems like the author was only trying to make the story interesting, and the Maison Gardiennage only had Fontaine's best interest in mind.
It's no one's fault. She's just a victim of a misunderstanding.
Wait, Miss Lapine Pauline, what are you doing?
I'm gonna pick a fight with a Gardamek, head to the opera at Biclez, and get a one-way ticket to
What?
the
What?
I won't have to repay my debts. It's the only way I can afford to keep
Damn.
on living.
That's some USA type shit right there. Einfach in den Knast gehen, damit du dein Zeug nicht bezahlen musst, deine Schulden.
You up at the Maison Gardiennage for a few days before letting you out, and then you'd still have to repay your debts. Actually, instead of going into the technicalities of that, how much did you actually invest? How bad can it really be?
270,000 Mora.
Ja.
Well, escaping to the fortress of Meripede over a sum like that seems like a last resort. Surely there must be other options.
Not anymore. I used to be an equipment supplier to the Fontaine Research Institute before that blew to pieces, and now I'm just a small-time engineer. I scraped together some savings over the past few years, but I put every last Mora into this project, and now I'm left with nothing. It's not just my savings that are gone. It's my whole future as a graph adversarial technology specialist and my dreams of becoming a billionaire one day.
Mhm. Ja.
My life is over.
Thundershot is following. Thank you. Thank you for your follow. It's nice that you're here.
This prototype you've given me, the camera lens for image recognition sample collection. It's really quite something. You said you designed it specifically for high-fidelity image capture and analysis, yes? The rapid focal length adjustment is a very useful function in its own right. It's sure to make many journalists' jobs much easier. In fact, I'd say it has the potential to revolutionize Fontaine's news media. So your research efforts thus far are by no means in vain. The technology you've developed may have many applications that you've never even considered.
Really?
Absolutely. I've been working as a journalist for the Steambird for a long time now. No one understands the issues we journalists face on a day-to-day basis better than me. So keep calm, take heart, and start thinking about mass production. In the meantime, I'll show your invention to all my colleagues to drum up interest in your product.
I can't believe it. If this is true, then I can look into setting up a whole camera lens development pipeline. My big-ticket orders and billionaire aspirations are still in the cards. Oh, maybe I should consider taking out another loan. That way, I can rapidly improve the lens production process, be the first to market, and prepare to battle for dominance in the camera industry.
Come on, stop daydreaming.
Einfach Economy Impact.
Just take it one step at a time and see how it goes. There's no sense in putting all your eggs in one basket before things are even off the ground.
Being overly ambitious might come back to bite you. Slow and steady wins the race.
And I can probably speak to some people I know and license my image recognition device to a workshop to raise some funds. I can't believe I didn't think of this sooner. There's no time to lose. I need to get to work. Early bird gets the worm.
Can you believe her? She just ran off. Paimon's pretty sure our advice went in one ear and out the other.
It's understandable. When inspiration and passion strike at the same time, it's all too easy to throw yourself headfirst into your work and forget about everyone around you. A lot of journalists are the same way when they're first starting out. But don't you worry. I'm gonna write an article on all this, and I'll be checking in on her regularly.
Na, dann mach das mal.
Research has the potential to benefit the entire journalistic community. I'll give her plenty of input to stop her from going down any rabbit holes, and make sure mass production of her lens can begin as soon as possible.
It's reassuring to know that you'll be looking out for her, Charlotte.
Go Charlotte! Star journalist to the rescue.
Actually, you know what? Why don't you two take this prototype lens? I'm sure you'll have plenty of chances to use it on your travels. It takes the right person to get the most out of a new technology. In your hands, it's sure to capture some amazing sights.
Thanks a lot, Charlotte.
Cool.
What a
Thanks.
nice surprise. We were just curious about what you guys were talking about. Totally didn't expect to get a free gift out of it.
You're welcome. I got something out of this too. The beginnings of a very interesting news story. The boundaries between real news reports and news-like fiction must not be blurred, even when there's a compelling justification for doing so. Yes, that's how I'll phrase it to the editors when I give them my feedback. Let's hope we don't mislead any more well-meaning citizens in the future.
Sehr cool. After activating the special analysis zoom lens through the inventory or the gadget shortcut bar, you can use your camera to use special photo taking function. After Charlotte activates this gadget, the original effects of framing, freezing, point compositions, hold mode cannot take effect, but you can use special methods to take photos. Return to the court of Fontaine. Mama. Können wir jetzt eigentlich die Hauptquest weiterspielen? Ne, können wir nicht. Follow the... Hä? Hä? What is happening? Okay. Hi.
That trial is something I rarely bring up in conversation, but I have always felt deep regret for what happened to both Carol and Vautrin. The words he spoke in court often replay in my mind.
Look at him.
Urging me to do something.
But Risley said he never resented you, right? Isn't that a good thing?
I believe I now understand what he wanted to tell me. I feel conflicted about those words.
Er ist so groß. Warum ist er so groß? War er schon immer so groß?
Relief, fear, and...
That's what she said. Sorry.
But this blend of emotions has led me to finally understand some things. I would like to hear your thoughts too.
Oh krass, die guckt ihn so voll an.
What do you think of me?
What I think of you? Smash. That's what I think of.
Chief Justice, every single one of your trials makes an impact on Fontaine. What do you think, Traveler? Hey, any comments?
What I really think is every trial you've ever judged has left its impression on you. And that's what makes you who you are today.
As the Hydra Archon Sovereign, Neviet still thinks of himself as an outsider due to his identity. But so much time has passed since then, perhaps the lines between him and humans have long since blurred.
That is indeed a reasonable assumption. As I said, I find it difficult to express my emotions because I cannot fully understand myself. But I trust your judgment. Since some time ago, I have begun to notice the changes that have occurred upon my person. These changes were not due to any specific occurrence, but emerged as a result of time itself. I will try to contemplate this further. Thank you both.
Anytime!
It's raining! Oh no, Paimon forgot to bring an umbrella! Come on, let's hurry before it rains harder!
It's raining again? I've had enough of this weather.
There go my travel plans.
Did you read the news this morning? Quick, put away everything on the clothesline.
When is this rain going to stop?
Hydro Dragon, don't cry!
Oh no! He's so baby girl.
They're planning to reanimate the monster. We have to report this to the Chief Justice.
The Fortress of Mirapede. It's a good place for me.
He owes me so many answers.
Neuvillette? You could say he's the real symbol of Fontaine's justice.
Watch him closely. He could be trouble.
How can two completely different species possibly coexist?
Who's been threatening Melusines? Show yourself!
You will see much in the human world, from the delightful to the depressing. And one day, when you have dwelt among humanity long enough, you will be placed to bring judgment over all as a spokesperson for Fontaine's past.
Good morning, Monsieur Neuvillette! The rainy season's almost over! The skies are supposed to clear in a few days!
I hope you find time to enjoy the sunny days ahead.
No. Oh my god, I love him so much. My god.
Is the matter resolved?
Yep, we found the person who sent that threatening letter. Risley said he'd keep a close eye on him, so the Melusines should be safe now.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Sorry for dragging you all into this.
There's no need to apologize.
Yeah, you didn't drag us in. We got involved of our own accord.
By the way, where's Kiara?
At the Palais Mermonia, more than 50 people offered to protect her. Some even hid within the bushes to look out for danger. I was worried that the excess of protection would make her feel uneasy, so I asked her to stay inside the Palais. It's very safe in there.
What a relief.
Well, now it looks like the dust has finally settled. To celebrate this joyous occasion, Monsieur Neuvillette, would you be interested in an exclusive interview?
That's not how you celebrate.
Wow.
I will consider it.
Really?
Of course. My schedule is full for the following weeks, but I should be available next month. Come up with questions during the intervening days, and I will answer them to the best of my ability.
Oh, sie ist richtig happy. Sie ist voll am Ausrasten.
Yes! Thank you so much, Monsieur!
Now, if you'll excuse me, I must head back to the Palais and issue a communique to publicize our investigation results. I hope it will assuage the concerns of all.
Nice. Return to the Palaemonia. Machen wir das doch so. Ich glaube, das geht schneller. New quest finale. Talk to Charlotte. Nee, talk to Kiara. Was? Hallo Kiara. Oh, Kiara schläft. Eigentlich möchte ich sie gar nicht stören, wenn sie schläft. Aber wir müssen mit ihr reden. Wie süß sie ist.
Kiara?
Monsieur Neuvillette? Sorry, I accidentally fell asleep.
It's quite all right. I'm here to tell you that we have caught the sender of that threatening letter. You're safe now.
Thank you, monsieur. And thank you too, Traveler and Big Sis Paimon. Everyone's been so nice to me, so I've always felt really safe.
No.
Do you remember Domenico? He was the sender of that letter.
Let me think. I can't remember. My memory.
I can't remember either. It's been too long since I played the storyline. Ich weiß auch nicht mehr, wer Domenico ist.
By the way, I saw Carol in my dreams just now. Where's she gone, by the way? I haven't seen her in a long time. In my dream, she looked really happy. She held my hand and said, "Kiara, our dreams have finally come true." I can't remember what our dreams were anymore, and I don't know why. But I felt really happy too.
I can sense your joy. It is indeed a delightful moment.
Monsieur Neuvillette, are you happy too? Oh, I almost forgot. Am I allowed to go out now? I promised to model for Alov.
Of course. Off you go.
No.
See you next time, Monsieur, Traveler, and Big Sis Paimon.
See you next time.
Okay. Quest complete. 60 Primogems. Splendor Sky that day. Oh. 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 Warte mal. Kann ich hier eigentlich... Ja, ne? Holen wir uns mal so ein Dings. Ich muss hier auch noch ganz viel machen. Och, Mann. Hier und Es ist so viel. Und ich habe keine Zeit. So, Finale. Talk to Charlotte. Navigiere mich. Wo müssen wir denn überhaupt hin? Da hinten müssen wir hin. Machen wir das doch einfach so. Das ist ein Überfall. Kekse hoch und Hände her. Hallo Mermaid Sarah Sophie. So, wo wollen wir hin? Da unten wollen wir hin. Können wir uns den Viewpoint noch holen? Oder fängt die Cutscene an? Ich ganz vorsichtig. Yes! Wow! Court of Dune Springs. Wunderschön. Ja.
Renewed. The Spina Rasula attacks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Poisson to meet...
Wie geht's? Mir geht's gut. Und dir? Ich habe Ferien, ich habe Pizza, ich habe Energy und ich habe Genshin. Von daher geht's mir gerade richtig gut.
It's like seeing a small cookie when you're starving late at night. You just need a little of it.
No.
Skyship Winglet, Lunar Bane of the Fontaine research
Mir geht's supi, das ist schön.
the various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin.
Ja, was ist eigentlich mit diesem fliegenden Schiff-Teil? Ergibt einfach gar keinen Sinn.
People always call the first researcher mad, but few know what to call the second. And should that latter person achieve a miracle, they would find it all the harder to find a word with which to classify him and his team. Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Curia and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
They might have been real big shots from the start. We just didn't need them in that capacity.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. With the disaster just having passed, we would print a free edition packed to the margins with good news to calm people down. The value for these big scoops lies in their...
Ich bearbeite noch einmal. Ferien haben, das wäre schön. Ja. Ja, ich genieße es auch. Ich weiß auch, dass ich das gar nicht mehr so lange haben werde. Aber ich bin auch gar nicht mehr so lange hier. Also am Wochenende fahre ich in die Heimat und dann bin ich da erstmal ein paar Wochen. Von daher ist das jetzt so ein bisschen die letzte Möglichkeit, nochmal richtig in Genshin reinzuballern. The articles do make me curious about how things will play out.
Paimon's curious too! Wait a minute. Didn't we watch everything happen from start to finish? What's there to be curious about?
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me. You're the best incubators of news, if you haven't noticed. And also, with you around, I'm sure I'll get to see that Duke.
Are you sure? Hasn't he turned you down several times already?
Oh, this time will be different. Come on, let's head to Poisson first, and then make a trip to the fortress. There are some things you'll only know when you get there.
Mhm. Na dann, auf geht's. Ab nach Poisson. Arbeit ist aber entspannt. Keine nervigen Menschen, mit denen ich zu tun habe. Das hört sich sehr gut an. Dann hast du dir scheinbar die richtige Arbeitsstelle ausgesucht. So, Freunde, erzählt. What's poppin'?
Navia! Oh, it's you. What brings you all here?
Hey, we're just having a look around.
I'm here to update myself on how things are going here. Oh, the Fatui are here too.
Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garunt Snezhevich. He represented the Knave in sending us a large amount of supplies, and is helping with our work.
Arbeiten jetzt
Residents are
zusammen.
hard at work as well. Thanks to everyone, work is progressing nicely. We've lost a lot of people, but we're moving forward. That will have to be enough.
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. I especially like that article you wrote last year about Fontaine's stray cats.
Oh nein, was ist er denn für ein Süßer?
But if you don't mind, could you not emphasize our role too much in your report? It's not charity we're doing here. We just
Irgendwer staubsaugt immer noch das Treppenhaus. Es tut mir leid, wenn ihr das im Hintergrund hört.
Keep it as simple as possible. Or would you be willing to feature as friendly neighbors?
That would be fine. Thanks.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down the construction materials. It'll be another hour before the workers are able to go over there.
Huh? You're here too, Clorinde?
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business with Miss Farina. So she's here in Poisson to wait out the heat.
Clorinde hat einfach gar keinen Bock.
Alright. She really came here to
Also wenn man das so sieht, wie ich, ist meine Arbeit wie Urlaub. Das ist perfekt. So soll es sein.
And, well, I do already happen to be connected to Mr. Callis.
Oh, wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions? You know, about how you felt before the duel, about what it was like facing down a god. There's lots of exciting material there, I bet.
Forget it. I'm sure you can find a better theme than that, Miss Charlotte.
I see you're the same as always. Couldn't you do me a favor, for Navia's sake?
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might as well just take a few more photos of me. Or of the traveler. It's better than wasting time persuading Chlorand at any rate.
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let her off that easy. All right, then everyone who wants to be in the photo, gather up. And smile.
No. Süß.
How did it go? Was it a good shot? Did Paimon look cute in it?
Not bad. Your addition really helped the composition of the picture.
No.
All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more shots.
Charlotte takes more pictures of Poisson to the clicking of shutters.
All right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
You're very quick.
Ich arbeite in einem Aquarium als Meerjungfrau. Deswegen auch das Mermaid im Namen. Oha, wie cool. Oha, wie cool. Ich sehe das immer nur online, wenn Leute sowas machen. Ich finde das mega nice. Bin ich sehr neidisch. Also ich glaube, ich könnte das nicht. Ich glaube, also klar, wahrscheinlich ist auch ein bisschen Übung und so mit Luft anhalten. Aber das stelle ich mir schon ziemlich cool vor. Und du musst halt nicht mit den Leuten reden. Das stelle ich mir auch ziemlich cool vor. Als Mensch, der im Krankenhaus arbeitet, ist es schon eine sehr gute Vorstellung, auf der Arbeit nicht mit Menschen reden zu müssen. You already knew she was going?
Whoa, you're well informed. Let me make a guess too. I asked Sijuin, who told Monsieur Nervillette, and he told you, right?
That's a very complete information chain.
In truth, all Monsieur Neuvillette asked me was, when did the fortress become so friendly towards the media? I told him that it was best not to speak too soon. There's no guarantee that Ridsley will make a personal appearance.
You're right. I've got to treasure every moment I have with them. In which case, I'll be making a move first.
Stay safe now. And tell me if you hear anything interesting. I'll treat you to afternoon tea in exchange.
Oh. Ab nach Meripede. Haben wir schon einen auf der richtigen Ebene? Nein, haben wir nicht. Versuchen wir es mal so. Hallo Doors! Auch wie immer obligatorisch. Booster, bitte sponsort mich. Bitte, bitte tut es. So. Wie läuft's bis jetzt? Bis jetzt läuft es sehr gut. Wir sind gleich mit der Archon Quest fertig. Glaube ich. Also das heißt zumindest Finale. I guess. Das ist dann das Finale so.
There's a real nostalgic feeling to this place.
Looks like you've been missing us.
Risley.
Did you come all the way to the entrance to greet us?
Of course.
Gewagte These. Mal gucken.
Whom our good head nurse recommended to me.
It's an honor to finally meet the much-rumored Duke. Thank you for consenting to my visit to the fortress, sir.
No need to thank me. But that said, I shouldn't be the focus of your interview. I trust you recall our agreement?
Of course, of course.
All right then, this way.
Ist ein toller Job. Die Kinder freuen sich immer. Oh, das kann ich mir vorstellen. Das glaube ich.
Hey, no need to be so nervous. I've already taken all the photos we need. Miss Charlotte, do these pictures really need to be published on the cover of the Steambird?
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her face to appear beside that of Mr. Jurier,
Sir, please don't say things.
But it looks like dear Mr. Jurier denies it. Might this interview be very important to you then?
No, I just... This is my first time being interviewed, and I'm very thankful to the Steambird for...
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet Mr. Edwin once. And I'll be honest, I enjoyed chatting with you more. You've definitely got more of that genius vibe going on.
Damn.
The boat that brought about a miracle. The ark that saved the people. Why, you recreated a myth back there, like an emissary of legend.
Ah, ich habe eine richtig schöne große Flosse mit Pink und Lila und Blau Glitzer. Richtig schöne Seitenflossen. Wie cool. Wie cool.
To get herself another exclusive scoop.
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of our factory. I'm afraid it won't be easy for you to get a shot of it.
Really? Well, then in that case, could I have an interview with you to make up for that loss?
She really does know how to squeeze opportunities for all their worth.
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps you'd like to take another photo of this couple.
Oh, sie ist richtig angry.
We have to use the word couple. Well, then 2 solo photos will do.
Is my hair messed up? Please, someone help me have a look.
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. We've seen this kind of thing before. Oh, seems like everyone's here.
Sigeween.
Any of you like to try this new drink I came up with?
Ah, Sigeween.
Hey, Miss Charlotte. Why don't you, take some pretty
Für die
photos?
Monoflosse habe ich 175 € bezahlt, der Rest ist aus Silikon. Kostet an die 850, ja. Das ist halt sau teuer, das Zeug, ne? Aber ich meine, gut, wenn du es beruflich machst, das ist schon, glaube ich, sinnvoll. Aber so für privaten Gebrauch wäre das, glaube ich, schon auch teuer, so. Aber ich folge so einem Instagram-Account, die machen so Flossen und bemalen die und machen so Airbrush und sowas und das sieht auch immer richtig, richtig, richtig cool aus.
Flying ship. It got a tad too much attention, I think.
That's why I decided to let the interview go through. We should direct more public opinions toward the behind-the-scenes heroes. Am I right, Mr. Jurier? Miss Lurvine?
You're too kind, sir. I believe that you too should have your day in the sun.
Literally.
Want that, which is a pity.
I'll just leave the spotlight to you two.
Das ist so eng, dass ich darunter eine Hose anziehen kann, die bleibt dann trocken. Krass, voll gut. You walk with Risley for a while.
Lots of things happened that day, huh? Anyway, regarding that Harbinger, I'm not sure you remember, but his 3 young followers are still waiting for his return.
He sure did win them over, huh?
I'll tell them that there's good news and bad news. The good being that their boss seems fine, and the bad being that they must face extended sentences for abetting his escape.
Oh, actually, what about you? Are things gonna change for you too?
What change can there be? The fortress will keep chugging along, and so will my duties. As to what Miss Farina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave those to the folks in the overworld.
Hey everyone, the photo shoot's done.
Good. In that case, let's call it a day here.
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, traveler, let's go. Till next time, everyone.
There'll be a next time?
Hat er schon gar keinen Bock drauf.
Write a story about the underwater factory next time. Until then. All right, last stop, the docks.
The docks? Aha, ganz hier hinten. Da war ich auch ewig nicht mehr. Nachteil am Silikon, man kann die Flosse nicht alleine an- und ausziehen. Ja, cool. Aber ich meine, es ist auch verständlich, ne? Ich meine, es bleibt halt überall kleben. Aber dafür, ich glaube, Silikon ist aber schon auch mit am realistischsten, oder? Sage ich als Mensch, der sich nicht damit auskennt. Müssen da runter? Ja, müssen wir. Ich liebe dieses Spiel. Du kannst einfach irgendwo runterspringen. Ja, ist es okay, cool. Cool. Ja, also wie gesagt, ich hätte auch eigentlich voll Bock drauf, das mal auszuprobieren. Aber das kostet halt alles so viel Geld. Und einfach mal ausprobieren ist halt nicht.
Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Limmy and the others after working together. Apparently, they've been at the docks distributing these strange pockets the whole time since.
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte, too.
Would you like a magic pocket? What sort of gadget is it?
It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. The water level has returned to normal, but if you see any of your things floating around, you can use this to carry them. Or you could trick a friend into doing it for you.
Trick a friend?
Der arme Fremine.
Which of my friends would fall for that?
Ein 8-Stunden-Tag, innerhalb 2 Stunden tauchen und schwimmen und dann 1 Stunde Pause. Das ergibt Sinn. Ich glaube, das ist auch echt hart für den Körper.
Is this what you meant by I'll help you make some more friends?
Oh nein, Fremine!
Could I have your contact, please?
Oh nein! Charlotte Fremine fanfiction incoming?
Please, write down my address.
Lynette sure is working hard to help Fremine socialize.
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist in our magic shows.
Sounds like that would suit him.
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear as an assistant, and later Fremine himself. In the future, I think we can leave.
Und Handflossen habe ich auch noch. Die sind aber auch sehr eng. Kann man auch nicht alleine ausziehen. Krass.
Want to see a diver escape underwater?
Krass. Vor allem meistens hat man ja dann auch noch ein passendes Oberteil oder so zur Flosse, meine ich. Das kommt ja auch noch mal extra dazu.
Lynette, could you come over? Miss Charlotte says she wants to take a picture of us.
Got it.
Und wie kommt man dazu? Also wie bist du an den Job rangekommen? Ist das in so einem, ja gut, Aquarium? Ist das wie so Zoo-mäßig? So Sea Life?
So, how have things been, traveler?
I'm doing alright.
Father says that you did a great deal during the latest events. She's very grateful for your contributions to Fontaine.
That's alright. We were more than happy to help. So, what's she doing now?
Oh, I guess you haven't heard. Well, after Lady Farina left, Father and Monsieur Neuvillette opened negotiations, during which he gave Fontaine's gnosis to her as a diplomatic gift.
What?
A diplomatic gift? A gnosis?
Yes, I was quite surprised at first myself. But when I thought it over, there were actually a number of things going for it. It could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the all-devouring narwhal down. Furthermore, Father did also lend significant aid to Fontaine and Poisson.
True, but this is a gnosis we're talking about. Doesn't this seem a bit irresponsible?
I would agree, but I've also heard that it seems that Monsieur Neuvillette has had a significant change of heart regarding the matter.
So there's some reason for this that only Neuvillette knows about?
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself. Ah, yes, speaking of which, I did see him strolling around the entrance to the Fortress of Meripede a while back.
Na, dann fragen wir ihn doch mal.
He's real busy and stuff. Paimon didn't think he'd have the time for that. But back to the topic. The gnosis was given to the knave, right? What about Child?
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds. I hear that the recent disaster really did a number on his health.
Well, I guess I can now call him one of my war buddies.
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the Fatui. To think we'd be allied with them this time.
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
The knave? Is it the knave? Yes.
Father.
Well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the traveler by chance. Please do not pay my accomplishments in Fontaine too much mind. I would have done them regardless.
Are you going to take the gnosis back to Snezhnaya?
That is our duty as harbingers, yes. Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world. With such a grand goal in mind, it is inevitable that we must wear many masks.
Aber Snezhnaya, hat Snezhnaya ein Element? Will you keep your position?
Well, that depends on many things.
Weil ich meine nicht, oder? Und Kanria? Also ich meine, Kanria gibt es ja so eigentlich nicht mehr.
As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners.
Actually, I just remembered something. Please help us deliver this.
A vision?
Ah!
All right.
Warte.
I'll remember to return it. Thank you for keeping it safe for him this entire
Also wir haben Child's Vision, aber er hat doch auch mit dem Narwhal gekämpft. Wie hat er das ohne Vision gemacht?
Huh? You're...
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Hello. If I'm not mistaken, there are diplomatic channels I'll need to report to.
Aber er hat ja seine Wasservision abgegeben.
That is correct.
Aber in seiner transformierten Form ist Child ja Elektro.
However, feel free to write as much as you like about our dear magicians.
Gehört mit zu Sea Life, so ein großer dicker Turm, das Aquarium. Hey, voll cool. Das hört sich richtig, richtig cool an.
I shall continue my walk while the weather remains so agreeable. Farewell.
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled interviews. Thank you all. This'll be more than enough for me to write about, I'm sure.
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go?
Warum haben die so viele von diesen blöden Magic Pockets?
You take one too.
To move things about?
That's right.
Ich meine, im Grunde haben wir ja schon eine Magic Pocket, so viel Scheiße, wie wir dabei haben.
When we first met too. And what do you know? I'm doing the exact same thing right now. So many things have happened, but the pockets are still the pockets. I guess this must be life. We will all follow our own paths.
Da sind 3 Schildkröten drin und Fische und ich. Wie cool! Oh mein Gott! Das ist schon ziemlich, ziemlich cool. Ich bin sehr neidisch.
Well, guess we sent Charlotte off. Shall we go see what Nivelette's doing? As long as he's not so busy that he doesn't have time to chat anyway.
Nein, er ist bestimmt nicht busy. Gucken wir mal, was er uns so zu sagen hat. Ah, hier hinten ist der Teleport. So, geben wir mal ein bisschen Gas, dass wir auch da hinten ankommen. Ich liebe ja dieses Outfit von Jean, ne? Ich finde das so geil. Ich finde es so hübsch. I love it. I love it so much. Und die Melusines, die hier rumlatschen. Und der Hund. Schaut euch einfach diesen Hund an. Ist ja nicht absolut großartig. Ah. Noch nie in meinem Leben habe ich so ein tolles Spiel gespielt. Cosplay incoming. Ja, Mann. Ey, ohne Witz. Ohne Witz, das als Cosplay würde, glaube ich, voll klar gehen. Für so eine Convention, weil du hast halt eine Hose und dann hast du das Oberteil und dann hast du halt noch dieses Umhang-Jacken-Ding. Ja, das würde voll klar gehen eigentlich. Irgendwann. One day. Als Oberteil habe ich ein altes Korsett blau angemalt und mit Muscheln beklebt. Oh mein Gott, wie cool! Ich finde das übel cool. Ich bin sehr, sehr, sehr neidisch auf deinen Job. Vielleicht sollte ich mein Studium abbrechen. Ich werde doch keine Ärztin mehr. Ich werde hauptberuflich Meerjungfrau.
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. He took the time to greet me earlier when he passed this way. In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out to you to set up a meeting, so I may explain some things that I haven't had the time to before.
Aw, Paimon's glad that you remembered. Thank you for keeping us on your mind, what with you being busy and all. Alright, let's have it then. How was Fontaine actually saved? The whole business is still quite the mystery to us.
It is strange how words can often leave a bitter taste in the mouth when it finally comes time to say them out loud.
Navia sighs softly before telling you the truth concerning what he saw that day. Focalor deceived the heavenly principles and used Farina's endless performance to save Fontaine.
So that's what happened?
I only saw Farina's part myself.
Focalor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon.
Ich dachte, du liebst die Musik. Medizin. Ja, Medizin ist auch schon cool, aber man sollte mit dem Korsett nicht zu tief tauchen, ist schon eng. Wenn dann noch der Druck vom Wasser drauf kommt, oh krass, stimmt, vor allem wenn das so ein großer Tower ist.
Control over the hydro element. Fontanians
Crazy.
were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitutions similar to that of mimics. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood, after the fashion in which life was first brought into being on this planet. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontanians became true humans, and thus would naturally no longer be dissolved by water from the primordial sea.
Focalor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true while saving everyone.
You could say that it was at that moment that the Fontanians were finally truly born.
Yeah, and in a manner of speaking, Focalor finally managed
Bis nach unten könntest du nicht mal, denke ich, oder halt nicht lange.
to
Ja.
turn Oceanids into real people too.
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
About the initial verdict that was passed on Child.
I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young. There, by chance, he awakened the all-devouring narwhal. But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of the disaster. At most, he would have had tangential liability. As for the judgment passed by the oratrice during the trial, whether it was due to that liability by association, or Focalor deliberately using him to buy time for us on the assumption that he would be able to hold the creature off, I cannot say.
Guess Focalor had Fontanians in mind the whole time. In the end, it was thanks to her that they finally became real humans. Hang on a second. Paimon suddenly got another question. Back when Fontanians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had also transformed Oceanids?
Das habe ich mir nämlich auch gefragt.
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontanians would often come to the Fountain of Lucine to pray for children?
Yeah, Lynette said the fountain is where all the waters in Fontaine converge.
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere custom, but instead a form of ritual. Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new humans in the coming months.
Paimon,
What?
Either way, seems like this ritual won't be of any further use, but it'll probably live on.
Sure.
Ask away.
Bisschen komische
I'll tell
Erklärung.
you the truth as I know it.
About Fontaine's future.
Yeah, about that. Risley said Farina has already left. What's that all about?
Ah, Lady Farina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me, before leaving the Opera House. I related Focalor's words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened nor comforted. She simply said that she was tired and needed to rest. Having said that, she then packed...
Jetzt kannst du sagen, dir folgt eine echte Meerjungfrau. Dankeschön. Hihi. Danke, danke.
She's still got a place to stay, right?
You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or travel. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear on her spirit will, of course, take time to heal. But now that she no longer has to play the role of Focalor the Hydro Archon, she can finally lay down her burdens and lead a normal life.
Ja, das ist halt jetzt auch die Frage, ne? Sie ist ja jetzt human. Wird sie dann irgendwann alt und stirbt, oder
Focalor passed on. The oratrice also
kommen die Jahre jetzt zurück? Also, dass sie dann irgendwie schneller stirbt, so vampirmäßig? I don't know.
I've decided to take over
I don't know.
control in our courts. From now on, I shall hear cases and pass verdicts by myself.
Oder ist sie immer noch unsterblich? Bis gleich.
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. But this power and this duty, in a manner of speaking, you could say that both were granted to me. As such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first and foremost continue to serve Fontaine as its highest judge. The duty of the Hydro Sovereign and the duty of the Eudex shall coexist within my person. Additionally, the Hydro Archon's departure has brought about another problem, which is that the Opera House shall no longer produce indemnitium.
That's true. That power was derived from the people's faith in the Hydro Archon, wasn't it? Wait, but the various mechs and machines in the city are all still okay. Where are they getting their energy from?
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute. Another reason why I cannot quite leave Fontaine immediately.
Wow. This ancient dragon's authority stuff is really quite useful, huh?
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
About Fontaine's noses.
Oh, that's right! They say you've given it to the knave as a diplomatic gift or something!
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much for us during this crisis. Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, would seem to be the Gnosis. The Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more, and I do not need the Gnosis's power. As such, it has lost all meaning for Fontaine. If the Fatui have impure designs, then we might as well accede to their request now and avoid unnecessary conflict.
Weiß ich jetzt nicht.
Paimon thought you were just giving it to them out of gratitude to the knave and as an apology to Child.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know.
Weiß ich nicht. About the next stop on my journey.
You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume.
Yes! Als nächstes geht es nach Natlan.
As a travel guide, so all I can do is tell you what I know about that land. As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of dragons.
Nation of dragons? You mean like you?
No, I suspect that I would
Ich
not.
weiß nur, dass es in Natlan Feuer gibt.
Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution. Large numbers of them have entered a form of coexistence with humanity. Natlan is also the nation of war. War ravages those lands like an undying flame. There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations with the knave that I believe may be useful to you. The harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his net into the endless ring of war.
Den haben wir schon gehört, ja?
Captain. Sounds like a real tough customer. Seriously, everywhere you look, there's a Fatui Harbinger doing their thing.
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime, Fontaine's doors will always be open to you.
Cool.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
I have no more questions.
Hang on a sec. Paimon's still got a question about the Gnosis. When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude towards giving away the Gnosis had clearly changed. We guessed that there might be some reason for it that only you were aware of.
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. They are certainly sharp. So regarding this specific issue, I was just getting ready to share something with you.
What is it?
In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
Jetzt bin ich gespannt.
Well, we're going to head topside to see what's going on. You hurry over soon as well, all right, Nervalet?
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting any interference. I can finally catch the scent of your power, what it's made of. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in.
So groß.
Quite a novel blend. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before. What was it again?
Der ist doch safe 1,95 oder so.
Ah, of course. How could I forget? You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
Remains? I've never heard of any such thing.
Huh. According to your parlance, I believe it may be called a gnosis.
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity faded, she handed her gnosis to me. But I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you just did.
I've been training with my master, the Foul, ever since I was young, and I have never returned to the surface since. So most of the information I possess, I got from him. It is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different sort of common sense, which is why there are so many problems in our attempts to communicate with humans. Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of misfortune to prevent any disasters from befalling you. To live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall all turn to curses.
What do you mean by that?
No need to fret. These are just my personal thoughts, and my reason for no longer wishing to return to the surface.
This third descender you refer to, who are they? And when did they die?
Master never mentioned them to me. Perhaps it just wasn't that important for me to know. If you're interested, though, I could ask him. I'll be sure to pass the answer on to you next time.
Next time? You believe we will meet again?
Ist das so?
Wait. I have a disciple of my own, don't I? He can be the messenger then.
Okay, also es wird nochmal irgendwas mit Child zu tun haben. Spannend, spannend. Oh Gott. Ich glaube, ich muss mir mal irgendwo ein Video angucken, wo so die ganze Story nochmal zusammengefasst wird.
I wanted to pass that information on to you.
The remains of the third descender? So
Aber haben wir das nicht schon mal irgendwo gehört?
Paimon just
Third
thought they looked
descender?
like chess pieces. How could they be a person's remains?
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor at play, that is what she meant to say.
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it, which is why you gave it to the Fatui.
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontaine at unnecessary risk by keeping it here.
Aber gehört Skirk nicht auch? A descender, she mentioned one of them. I am the fourth descender! That's what I was talking about! Warte, jetzt habe ich meinen Gedanken verloren. Was wollte ich sagen? Genau, aber Skirk und Child gehören doch auch zu den Fatui. Vielleicht hat sie das auch einfach nur gesagt, von wegen so gibt... Weil The Knave gehört ja auch zu den Fatui. Weißt du, vielleicht war das so ein Ding, dass die einfach die Gnosis für sich selbst haben wollten, weil im Grunde sitzen die ja alle im gleichen Boot. Oder? For me, this information means two things. One, that the Gnosis are related to the senders, and two, that the one who came before me has already died.
I had guessed that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I did not expect you to be one of them. That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the third descender.
Aber kommen alle 7 von dem einen Descender?
Like being able to use elemental powers without a vision. That does sort of count as special compatibility, right?
Oh mein Gott.
No, let's not think about this stuff right now.
No.
Creepy.
Oh Gott.
Comparing the Traveler to the dead third descender and all.
Vor allem, das hat ja alles angefangen damals in Khaenri'ah. Und Khaenri'ah ist ja schon 500 Jahre her. Und sie ist the fourth descender. Das heißt, in 500 Jahren gab es insgesamt nur 4? Don't worry, I won't die so easily.
That's what you say, but this topic still feels like bad luck.
Oh Gott, ich glaube, ich muss mir das mal irgendwo noch durchlesen, so eine Zusammenfassung von allem.
Or go look for his master and get the answers that way.
Das ist immer so gestückelt, wenn man diese Archon Quests spielt.
Information is lacking. The same is true of being at court.
All right. Whatever the case, it seems like the crisis here in Fontaine's over for now.
Yes. All of Focalor's efforts were for this moment as well.
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god, and she suffered through all those years as a human. Was that really what she wanted?
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will.
Can you understand the will of the gods?
I suspect not. But once in a while, I too would guess that if wishes were like the clouds in the sky, they will one day return to the earth as raindrops. Life flows like water, and rain is the final answer. The water levels may sometimes tilt one way or
Rain
another,
is the final
but the
answer.
rain falls fairly upon all. And what ultimately is the difference between the rains that fall upon all of us?
What? Masquerade of the Guilty! Completed! Wir haben's geschafft. Damn. Na. Aber schaut mal, Jean, also Jean ist ja schon größer als viele andere Charakter. Und er ist ja nochmal größer als sie. Der ist doch safe 1,90 Meter oder 1,95 oder 2 Meter oder so. Weil, schau mal, Barbara im Vergleich, die ist halt richtig klein. Fische? Dann geht die mal auch noch bis zur Schulter. Naja, okay. Ja. Cool. Ich habe hier so ein paar Achievements bekommen, ne? Wonders of the World for a Better Tomorrow haben wir und Masquerade of the Guilty haben wir auch. Read Reputation 10 in Sumeru und Fontaine. Activate 10 tunes in the Serenity Pond. Nee. Nee. Ja, nee, das mache ich irgendwann anders. So, und haben wir hier unten noch was? Nee. Okay. Cooli. Habe ich keinen? Nee. Hä? Habe ich gestern vergessen, mein Dings zu holen? Das kann sein. Naja, egal. So, was haben wir denn noch hier hinten? Oh ja, Masquerade of the Guilty ist abgeschlossen. Ganz toll. Wunderbar. Mehr haben wir hier auch erstmal nicht. Ich habe gestern noch so ein paar Domains unlocked. Genau, 2 fehlen mir noch. Aber hier 2 oder 3 habe ich gestern noch freigeschaltet. Ja, cool. Das heißt, genau. Die Archon Quest ist durch. Jetzt sind wir bei den Story Quests angekommen. Das ist immer noch das Bubu Pharmacy Ding. Dann Avidia Forest. Okay. Fontaine. Lorenzo has confessed to the murder of Caesar. Aha, aha. Ja, was haben wir hier? Fontaine, look for the hat. We hear someone calling for help. Ach so, ja, das war das. Und Meet up with Gaming. Ach so, das ist das Event. Das machen wir am Sonntag. Also Lantern Ride machen wir am Sonntag fertig. Und dann go to achso, ja, World Quests. La. Da haben wir noch ganz viel. Aber ich glaube tatsächlich, dass das Sachen sind, die ich machen werde, wenn ich aus der Heimat wiederkomme in ein paar Wochen und das neue Semester losgeht. Denn ich habe mir vorgenommen, ich möchte mehr streamen. Ich erzähle euch das seit ungefähr 3 Jahren. Aber ich möchte mehr streamen. Und ich bin halt ab dem Wochenende weg. Und danach komme ich wieder. Und danach spielen wir ganz viel Genshin Impact, damit ich den ganzen Kram hier irgendwann mal wegkriege. So, ich hatte das mal komplett runter. Ja, es gab tatsächlich mal einen Zeitpunkt, da war das hier alles leer. So vor 1,5 Jahren oder so. Und das möchte ich wieder hinkriegen. Und da werden wir dran arbeiten. Da werde ich dran arbeiten. Und wie gesagt, am Sonntag machen wir erstmal den Spaß hier fertig. Genau. Und ich glaube, ich habe zwar gesagt, dass ich heute ein bisschen länger streamen möchte, aber wir haben halt jetzt schon so 4 Stunden knapp. Und ja, ich glaube, dadurch, dass wir jetzt die Hauptquest abgeschlossen haben, ist das hier ein guter Punkt, um das abzuschließen. Ich muss tatsächlich heute noch ein paar Sachen machen und das ist noch ein bisschen zeitintensiv. Deshalb glaube ich, dass das hier tatsächlich ein guter Endpunkt für heute ist. Und ja, vielen herzlichen Dank an alle, die mit am Start waren und sind. Und es hat sehr viel Spaß gemacht, wie immer. Ihr wart alle richtig cool. Und dann sehen wir uns wahrscheinlich am Sonntag wieder. Ich wünsche euch einen schönen Resttag, ein schönes Wochenende. Und ja, bis zum nächsten Mal. Bis dahin.